Okay, we are live on YouTube now. So coming.
It's the Office Journal on Smooth 98.1.
That's right. It's the Office Journal on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying tuned. And thank you for being ready to listen to what we're about to share with you. My name is Oluwaseun, and I advise you or I enjoin you to just take a seat if you're driving well. Remain comfy in your seat and be careful while you drive. If you have somebody to take notes for you, that's fine, or you could just record. By the way, if you want others to be a part of this conversation, let them know that they can listen to us live. Just go to our website at www.smooth981.fm, then click on the listen live option. You can also search for us across all radio streaming apps. Just search for Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Right now, we are live on YouTube where you can see our faces. By our, I mean me and my guest. She's looking really radiant with spectacular lens. I do like the glasses she has on. If you want to see it, you should go to our YouTube channel. That will be Smooth 92 FM Lagos on YouTube. Do not forget to subscribe so that going forward, you do not miss out on whatever shows that we stream live there. And also you can share it with somebody. Oh, by the way, you can also join the conversation on Twitter. Just follow us at Smooth91FM on Twitter. Use the hashtag Office Journal and also the hashtag Strictly Soul 981. Now, are you ready? I have been going on and on about how remote working is an end really coming to remote working. And it's quite interesting that the conversation we're about to have is my guest is joining me remotely. She is joining me via Zoom. Isn't that ironical? Oh, by the way, she is not just an HR consultant, she's also a recruitment consultant, employee performance coach. And I am talking about the beautiful, delectable Aderonke Salami. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining me remotely.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So yes, like I mentioned, if you want to be part of the conversation, you can also send your messages to WhatsApp like Cisco Delgado already did. You can send it to 0809-444-0981. But if you would like to call in the course of the conversation, the number to dial is 01-448-9981. Now let's lay a quick background. I would not want to assume that everybody understands what remote working is, at least for the sake of somebody who's just bumping into this conversation. What is the definition of remote work?
So remote work is the ability for workers to actually do their bit, do their own assignments, do their job roles, do whatever it is that they've been assigned to do without having to be physically present in an office building or in an office building that is, provided by the employer. So you have remote work, in your own space. You have remote work in your own, what you've created for yourself. Just like what I have here, you can have a library, you can have a co-working space, you can have a place, just even something created small for you. The idea is that you don't have to be physically present in a structured environment to actually, put in the best that you have to offer. So that's basically what remote work is all about.
Thank you. We cannot take the fact that COVID-19 pandemic really contributed and encouraged remote work, where people were locked down. Literally, people couldn't go out and they still had to work. We had people who were broadcasting from their houses. We saw the rise of podcast and many other things that people just had to think outside of the box because they had to make money, they had to survive.
Right.
But recently, the reason we're talking about this, and before then, we talked about, a number of conversations were ongoing about technological advancement and
Mhm.
how some things have come to stay. In fact, some people even sold their office spaces thinking, okay, remote work is now the in thing.
Mhm.
However, just with every other thing that happens with human, it's like people are gradually getting tired. And I'll tell you why. So last 2 weeks, Elon Musk, we know Elon Musk, and he said that Tesla employees need to get back. In fact, he dropped it like a threat, like a subtle threat, saying that people need to get back to 40, minimum of 40 hours per week within the office, or they find a new job. That's what he literally said. And funnily enough, when it concerns some other big multinationals, for instance, JP Morgan Chase said that they recently just softened their own stance on remote working just to encourage more people. Now, Goldman Sachs CEO David said he has been on the mission also to return to the 5 days in the office status quo. And then now I'll give some other data. According to a match survey by Cleaning Coalition of America, which canvassed over 200 New York-based C-suite executives, it said that 76% think that in-person work is essential to productivity. Now, I'll go further. Now, according to federal data, still in America, because we do not have so much data here in Nigeria, but according to them, it says that 7.4% of American workers are teleworking because of COVID-19, down from the high number of 35% during the COVID-19 lockdown. So you see how it has dropped. People are going back to office spaces. Still going further, according to University of Chicago, now this is why we're talking about it. According to a study from University of Chicago, it says that people put in longer hours of work during remote working. However, those hours are not always productive.
Mm.
What do you say to that?
Okay. So basically, right. Um, just like you've shared, we can see like there's a pattern. And really, one of the reasons why we even went into remote working was because of the COVID-19 in the first place. But one of the challenges, because, with everything comes challenges, right? And in a country like ours that isn't as equipped as, the international standards and all of that, it's a little bit more difficult to actually manage the entire situation. Yes, there's a lot of, I would like to say that it's like a balance of productivity. So on one hand, there's that feel of workers actually putting in the work, because sometimes you have workers actually, or employees working as late as 3 a.m. just to get in their results. But the truth of the matter is this, it has become a little bit difficult to actually manage the entire virtual process. Sometimes you might need to get things done, and you might not, because of internet connectivity, you might have a problem, getting to the person, or getting to the client, or getting even to your employees at large. So that's one of the major challenges and things that we see as to why you see employees, saying, okay, let's come back to work, let's see what we're doing, and let's try to manage the entire situation and see how we go on from there. Basically, that's like the major problem that we're having to actually manage a virtual workforce, and actually the difficulty of internet connectivity. It's not as easy as it is. Just before we even started, we already had that conversation of is the internet connectivity good enough? I've had meetings where I'm having to say, can you hear me? Am I properly being heard? Sorry, excuse me, repeat yourself, things like that. So we're having, I know it can be so embarrassing, especially if you have to speak with international counterparts, when you're having a meeting and you're doing, can you hear me? Can you, hello? So that's like our major issue, when it comes to these things. And so we're seeing these days that, okay, what are we doing differently? What should be done? Should we come back to work fully? Should we change the system? Should we put in more strategies as to how to manage this entire thing? Because when we look at it, at the end of the day, if you look at the reports that you've given, you will notice one of the things that they're trying to do is create a strategy that would help to manage the entire workforce.
All right. Well, we'll get back to some of the other pros and cons of remote working, and let us weigh them against each other. If the pros rather, are outweighing the cons, or it's the other way round. This is Strictly So here on Smooth 98.1.
The soul music. Strictly so. 98.1.
So just a 2 minutes ad break thereabouts.
From now, anytime your data finish, you will take Shikini money subscribe on top MTN all social bundle for 50 naira daily, 100 naira weekly, or 250 naira monthly to browse Yaf on top Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram, Ayoba, WeChat, to go, Biscuit, or Estimate. Easy, dial star 131 star 3 star 6 hash to subscribe to MTN all social bundle. Make you begin the browse Yaf. So, now what did we do today?
Now, this is how your day starts.
When I wake up in the morning. Good morning!
Welcome to Smooth Breakfast,
An infotainment-packed show with just the right programming you need. Exactly what I need.
By the way, don't forget traffic ahead.
Oh,
And coming up around 6 is the headline news.
Business Express takes you on how government policies affect your financial decisions.
Get entertained on the grapevine for all your celebrity gist.
And it's more action.
On your favorite sport on the locker room.
And vent if you have to, because Lagos talks here on Smooth. It's all that and more.
With music just for you to help you commute all the way to work. The Smooth Breakfast. Mondays to Fridays from 6 a.m.
My name na Emekos. Now me be Dr. Patchpatch for all theater money with my sellotape and razor blade. Anybody wey get money, wey need life support for our yard. Now my domot dem dey come. But from now, I don't retire from my patch work because of Momo Payment Service Bank. The new way to send and receive money way better pass cash.
Say bye-bye to Tiatia Money Palava. Just dial star 671 hash to open your Momo wallet today. The simple way to send and receive money to any phone number.
Okay, we're coming back in.
Life is simpler because Momo is better than cash.
Music never felt so good on Strict.
And you bet talk never felt so good anytime you're tuning into us. Smooth 98.1. I love music, I love life. This is Office Journal, where it's all about you, your work productivity, and some other things in between. My name is Oluwaseun, and I do have a guest joining me remotely to talk about if an end is coming to remote working generally across the world. Her name is Aderonke Salami, and she is an HR consultant. So if you'd like to join this conversation, please send your thought on WhatsApp 009-444-0981. And then you can also drop your comments on YouTube. That will be www.youtube.com/smooth91FM Lagos. I'll take this message from Cisco Delgado. He says, the truth is that remote work has brought a new normal in work ethics. Economically, it has helped companies to save money from rent and transportation for their staff. People can now work anywhere globally. But I think the amount that it saved them when it concerns transport allowance and the other thing, I think they had to convert that to data allowance, because we saw a rise of that.
Right.
So I don't know, did it really save? Now, going back to some of the pros and the cons, do you think, let me just have your thought or views.
Okay, so basically when it comes to the pros, just like, the comment that you got, it has helped us to work globally. Basically, just before the pandemic, it wasn't so easy, to have counterparts from international spaces and things like that. It was always locally conversations and things like that. But we've seen that with COVID-19, there's been a drastic change, and so we have, just like you said, the pros and the cons of remote work. When you look at the pros of remote work, you can see that a lot of time is spent traveling. The travel time is a whole lot, less than what we used to have, having to sit down basically for hours and hours on end just to get to work, and coming back from work. We see that time has been put into good use when it comes to working. Another pro is that there's higher productivity. As much as we want to say that, There is
Sorry to
actually.
interrupt. Now, let me bring this from an employee point of view. Do you
Okay.
think that when it concerns remote work, that sometimes employers take advantage of the employee under the guise of, well, now you're not moving around, you are in one place, you're in the comfort of your home, and then
Mhm.
you're seeing mails at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., because after all, you're home. You are using a stable internet connection. Do you think remote work actually made employers to start taking, in quote, advantage of employees? Because it looks like employees were not closing anymore. There was no official work hours. From when you wake up to when you sleep. In fact, in the middle of the sleep, your emails are still dropping as an HR personnel.
Well, I wouldn't fault you for that thought process, right? And we've seen that not all organizations have the same process when it comes to work, the work culture and things like that. But the truth of the matter is, yes, we have things like that happen in terms of having emails sent to you at so time or the other. But we've also seen that there is also work-life balance in all of these things, and which is one of the pros when it comes to this. I believe that at least I've worked with a few people, and I've seen that when it comes to their work ethics, that's what determines whether or not things like this escalates to the extent that employees don't have a say, or they don't have time, or and so all of it depends on the structure that has been put in place already. So we've had businesses try to emulate that kind of work culture that is easy for employees to walk along and not have that stress on them. Now, it's not to say that these things don't happen, but I'm sure that not everybody expects you to stand up at 3 a.m. and answer a mail. But at least it is there just so that
They
you know
might
that in
not
the
say
morning
it.
you can
Mm-mm. Now, this is me playing the devil's advocate for the employees
right.
all around the world. They might not say it, but then when you wake up at 6 a.m. and you're seeing the call and they say, didn't you see my mail? When did the mail drop? 3 a.m. Essa, Emma, what were you expecting me to do? To wake up or set a particular ringtone for my emails? I'm just saying that's also part of it. But now let us talk about another thing that was found out in the study from a multinational company. They said that they found out that there was an over-reliance on email and messaging, which of course is normal because everybody is not in the same physical location. And as a result of that, it made there was a drastic drop in interpersonal relationship, and people were not connecting in terms of the normal human connection. In fact, this particular company said the employees were complaining because they lacked that physical touch, and so things, how sometimes you're communicating to somebody and it looks like your tone of message is being taken out of context. So that made work also more difficult because you're not there to say, this is what I mean. Somebody is misunderstanding or misreading or misquoting your message. Plus, you're not even sure of the emotional state of that person when they received your message. I think that's one of the cons of remote work.
I'll have to agree with you on that. As humans, we're more into personal communication than any other thing. And that's one of the things that have been removed from remote work. We're so used to the body language, how you see each other, when to approach somebody, when not to approach somebody. But unfortunately, when it comes to remote work, you don't even know what's happening. Most times when you see people in Zoom meetings, their videos are even off. You might not even see what is happening behind the scenes. And that's one of the huge reasons why remote work has been such a bad thing for the workforce actually.
Okay, I'll quickly take this message from Cisco Delgado that says, yes, they do take advantage of that, though not all organizations. Most companies working remotely had to cut salaries of their staff. Yeah, it goes back to that thing we started that, they will say you're no longer commuting, so there could be a drop. Now, going further, he says answering mail 3 a.m. means that one is on night shift. We'll take another breather. When we come back, we will be wrapping up this conversation. How time flies. So I will just answer the question. And of course, if you want to answer the question, do you think an end is coming to remote work? You can send your messages through on WhatsApp. That will be 0809-444-0981. This is Office Journal on Smooth 98.1.
Everyone, don't even think about touching that dial.
My name now Naples. Now maybe Dr.
1
Patchpat for
minute
all the
break.
money with
We
my
come back.
Paris of late. Anybody will get money when need life support for our yard. Now my domot them they come. But from now, I don't retire from my patch work because of Momo Payment Service Bank. The new way to send and receive money way better pass.
What time is it?
By to Money Palava. Just dial
55.
*671# to open your Momo wallet today. The simple way to send and receive money to any phone number for free. Life is simpler because Momo is better than cash. Fifi, what are you doing? Where you see calendar?
I'm canceling my savings countdown. Soft babe life in a little bit.
Huh?
My ultra slim retina display laptop from Ultimall will be here in about 3 hours.
On Ultimall, you can own now and pay later with flexible payment options of up to 24 months. The best part is there is zero interest on all products. So shop your home appliances, electronics, furniture, gadgets, and more now on www.ultimall.ng. All small. Shop more. Pay easy.
Hello, I'm Richard Quest of CNN, and this is Smooth.
That's right, and you're tuning to Office Journal here on Smooth 98.1. My name is Oluwaseun, and my special guest on YouTube, yes, you can see her face on YouTube, is Aderonke Salami. She's an HR consultant. We are talking about remote work. Do you think an end is coming to remote work? Now, to you as an HR professional, what would be your recommendation? I mean, looking at the things, the issues that we have counted and highlighted as touching maybe employers taking advantage of employees and employees being a little bit lackadaisical, feeling that I have more time to get to meet the targets. What would be your recommendation, especially going by what you have seen and, you know, having to deal with those people?
Okay, so for me, one of the things I like to recommend is employee advocacy. I'm such a big proponent of employee advocacy because it allows employees to take up ownership of the business, in quotes, really. It allows them to be a part of the process. And so when you create a strategy behind that, it helps to allow employees be a part of the organization in such a way that they don't see themselves as separate. They see themselves as part of the growth and the success of the organization. Another thing that I would love to recommend is a hybrid situation, right? Yes, people are coming back into work, the workspace and the work environment, but we've seen that remote work, you know, to a large extent has worked so far. But we can always create a hybrid strategy where sometimes you come to the work environment, and sometimes, you know, you work from home. Those two things are, you know, are very important, you know, in making sure that we guide against the issues and the challenges of remote work.
Thank you very much. And it is on that note we are saying, yeah, we are done. I know time flies by when you're giving out really quality information, but we should be able to have this, maybe a second part of this. According to Aderonke Salami, she says that we do not necessarily need to do away with remote work, just create the hybrid, make everything balanced, advocate for everybody, right? Yes. Employee advocacy, and of course, keep the work-life balance. It is very important. I'll take this last message from Cisco saying, my last work with a telecom company in Nigeria was purely remote, although we interact more with computers and intelligent networks. So human body language and interaction was not much of a problem. So it depends on job descriptions requiring human interactions. Thank you. And thank you again. I look forward to more conversations around the workplace with you. Will you oblige me when I come calling next time?
Definitely.
Thank you. I'm making you promise on live radio so that you can go back on your word.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do enjoy the rest of your morning.
And you too.
Thank you. Yeah, and you too. Thank you, Lagos, and everybody who's been a part of this conversation. It's been wonderful. Of course, thank you, and special shout out to Cisco Delgado and every other person behind the scenes. You can catch up with this conversation on YouTube. Just go to our channel, youtube.com/smooth921FM Lagos, and you'll find it right there. Recommend it to somebody. Maybe it's your own way of telling your employer that, I think you're taking advantage of me. Or maybe it's your way of communicating to your employee that I think you are under delivering. Don't worry, you don't necessarily need to say it openly. Just send them the link to the video and they'll get the message. I'll be back to give you more of the beautiful soul sounds here on Smooth 98.1. Thank you so much. It was so like the time. went by.
Yes, keeps flying, surprisingly. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, yeah, thank you. I'll reach out. I'm sure that we'll have other conversations later on. Hopefully you're able to make it into the studio this time.
No problem. No problem. Just let me know ahead of time.
Bye.
You're listening to